going on inside of my mind, telling me to get a butcher knife up out of the kitchen. Hey, wait a minute, listen.
Hey, it's Chris from CriticalOutcast.com. Here again to talk about some more movies. You missed me? I know it wasn't that long ago that I was here, and I know you're probably already tired of this face. I know I am. In any case, you know, with Christmas right around the corner, I thought it'd be a good idea to maybe find out what your favorite Christmas horror films are. Yes, there's, you know, horrors not only for Halloween for you non-horror fans. There are horrors for almost any holiday you can think of. You could even probably think of, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, it kind of got me thinking the other day when I did the other video when I talked a little bit about seeing Silent Night, Deadly Night in the 35mm projection, which was gorgeous, by the way. Made me start thinking about what some of your favorite Christmas horror films are. I know it was only really over the past few years that I was really introduced to Christmas horror. I always knew they were there, but if you may not know, you know, my tastes have been growing and expanding over the past few years, over the past decade, where I've really found myself as a movie fan, as a horror fan, as a writer. I know the last one I'm probably not that good at, but, you know, if you read it, it's your own fault. Anyway, there were some really good ones out there. Like, there were a few years ago at a Hudson Horror Show, which is a marathon that some friends of mine put on a couple times a year off of, 35mm prints in a theater, introduced me to Black Christmas, which, if you haven't seen it before, is amazing. It is a great, gritty, dark, bleak Christmas movie. It stars Olivia Hussey, who had previously starred in a presentation of Romeo and Juliet, as well as Margot Kidder before she became a Lois Lane in the Superman films. This movie there's something about it, there's a killer loose in it's like a sorority house at the holidays, and people start getting killed off one by one. I don't really want to give too much away, but you really should see it. It's scary. It's a dark film. And when it gets to that final shot, and you'll know it, when you see it, it's pretty amazing. It's one of those really terrifying, quiet films. Probably my favorite Christmas horror film. Although no, Silent Night, Deadly Night is right up there with it. Although that's a bit more on the campy side. Sure, it's still grimy and dirty, and low budget and all that fun stuff that we horror fans like, but it's not quite as bleak. Another film that I was recently introduced to was Christmas Evil, which is also known as You Better Watch Out. Stars Winona Ryder, where the hell did that come from? Fiona Apple's father as a killer Santa Claus. Much like Silent Night, Deadly Night, although this came out before, a few years before it, features a guy who has an experience with a guy dressed up as Santa that does not sit well with him and warps his fragile little mind. And later he decides to, he plays Santa Claus, and he goes out doling out his, punishment to the naughty and gifts to the good kids. It's a movie that starts off slow. It's a very slow burn. It's a character study. It's very interesting, and when it gets to the end, it just goes off the rails. I mean, it's really good. I'm glad to have finally been introduced to that one. Another one that isn't necessarily horror, and it is maybe targeted a bit more towards families, is Nightmare Before Christmas. The Tim Burton story that got turned into the stop-motion film directed by Henry Selick back in, I believe it was 1993. It's hard to believe that the movie's that old. But that's a movie that, crosses multiple holidays, Halloween to Christmas. You can watch it, you can watch it for Halloween, you can watch it for Christmas. It's catchy, it's fun. It's just one of those movies that I just really love, and it just can just watch and just sing along. It's easy to get wrapped up in that one. Anyway, I know there's got to be some other horror films out there, centered around the Christmas holiday that, you probably want to, let me know about. Maybe I haven't seen them yet. There's always the standbys. You got Gremlins, which is fantastic. And you have the Christmas action films. Lethal Weapon, Die Hard. Hell, you can even include Cobra in there. That's got some Christmas scenes in it. Anyway, comment on here. Let me know what other Christmas horror films you like, or if you brought it out, just include other Christmas films. You got the classics. It's a Wonderful Life. Why am I going completely blank right now? Got A Christmas Story, which is one of my all-time favorites. And a funny note about that is, if you don't know, that was directed by Bob Clark, who also directed Black Christmas. So there you go. You have a guy who's given me two of my favorite Christmas films. One nice happy film and one not so nice film. Then there's other more recent ones, like you go and you got Elf. Elf is fantastic. Nothing else is really coming to mind right now. Oh, Christmas Vacation is also a good one. Anyway, let me know what you think about Christmas films, and in particular Christmas horror. And be sure to visit me over at criticaloutcast.com, at horrorsexy.com. Check out my other videos here on YouTube. You can also find me at Critical Outcast on Twitter. And I'm playing blanking. I'm sure I'm out there in a few other places, but those are the big main places that you can find me. Let me know what you think, and we'll talk to you later.